Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Hoops with Noops. Of course, I am Alex Noops Christensen, and I'm here brought to you by the fine folks at FTN. Make sure you check out all the great packages there. There is a code in the ticker on the bottom. If you sign up, you get access to the Discord channel, which I mention all the time. All my bets in there go first thing before I write, before I start recording. So you get access to everything right away, even on the weekends when I'm not producing Hoops with Noops. And again, you can see me every Monday and Friday on video, and then read me every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Appreciate all the support. Really enjoying helping you guys out. It's been a solid season so far. Would appreciate it if you gave me a like here on the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to hear? And of course, subscribe to this channel. Tons of other great content, and you get all of it again without having to sign up. So make sure you get as much of that good stuff as you can for free. But also be sure to check it out. A lot of great tools, extra content, more picks, access to all of us here. It's a huge network, a lot of great stuff. But on to the basketball. We are here to talk about Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. You know, we are a week into January. It is just about a month until the NBA trade deadline. You know, teams like the Lakers and Warriors continue to struggle. The Lakers finally winning a basketball game last night, but I believe there's been sources up to 5, 6, maybe even 7 players that have all talked to different media members about how they don't trust Darvin Ham and how they really think it's time to move on. So it's tough. It's really bad for a locker room to have that kind of stuff going on. So worried about them a little bit. The Warriors still struggling. You know, Draymond Green may come back to practice in the next couple of weeks or so. Still not sure when he's going to play, but lose Chris Paul for a month. At the same time, you've got two teams moving in the opposite direction. The Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks, both huge benefactors from their trade. Emmanuel quickly looks like the guard that the Raptors have needed honestly for a couple seasons now. Even when they had Fred VanVleet there was just not a dynamic scoring presence, and quickly has been really great. On the flip side, the Knicks, OG Anunoby is perfect. He's exactly what Tom Thibodeau wants. He's been really great for that team. So a lot happening now. We're curious to see how it progresses. We've got 6 games to get through tonight. I've got bets in 2 of them. And then, of course, we'll talk about the rest of them in Not for Noops. Let's go ahead and get started here. The first game, the Chicago Bulls play the Charlotte Hornets. I'm sorry, I messed that up here a little bit. Let me get that spread right. It should be Hornets plus 6.5. I assure you the Hornets are not minus 6.5. But second time in a row, these two teams have played. Third time this season, and they have been ugly, ugly basketball games. The Bulls are the slowest team in the NBA in terms of pace. The Hornets, if you look for full season, middle of the pack, but if you filter on all the games since losing LaMelo Ball, they are second to last in pace. This should be an ugly game. The first 2 times they played, there were 96 possessions and 92 possessions. The Hornets scored 91 points and 100 points. And that's the angle for me tonight. I like the full game under here, but I think a Hornets team total under really is the way to go. Without LaMelo Ball, without PJ Washington, just too many players missing tonight. Gordon Hayward also out. Again, big pieces for the offense. Washington's a good shooter. Hayward is a good distributor and scorer in the mid-range. LaMelo is the offense when he plays. All these guys missing. You know, that leaves Terry Rozier as the best scorer, which is not something you really want to be saying in the year 2024. I guess Brandon Miller's second best, and then third best is a list of people that I'm not really sure I've heard too much of, let alone see score a lot of baskets. So it's really ugly in Charlotte. Again, the Bulls playing really slow, and I don't mind the full game under. The total's 216.5 right now. Just a little concerned that maybe the Bulls might be able to put up a good number. The Hornets defense is not good, and the Bulls with Vucevic, with Levine back, have a lot more upside offensively. And you might say those 2 players hurt their defense, and they do, but not in a big way. If you go back and look, the Bulls have learned to play with both of those guys. They know how to cover up any of the problems the 2 of them bring defensively. So not worried about Chicago's ability to guard a team that hasn't been able to score against even bad defenses. So Hornets team total under 104.5. Might play an alternate team total under. Going to wait and see if those open. Anything 99.5. They've really struggled to score 100 points. So be sure to check the FTN Bets Discord. I'll be sure to put that in there if I do make that bet. The second wager I've already placed, and you'll get a better number than me on this because the Oklahoma City Thunder, when I started writing up this morning and was giving out plays, were 11-point favorites in Washington. They're only 10.5-point favorites now, and I might go back and add some because I don't really see any injuries here. It's not necessarily a bad schedule spot for either team. Thunder had a day off yesterday. They have a day off tomorrow before their next game. And this is the exact kind of team Oklahoma City demolishes. Now, I generally don't like laying big numbers, and I want to just look up some of these numbers here to make sure that I get them right. Looking back here, the Thunder have already won 14 games this season by 12 points or more. They were favorites of 8 points or more 4 times, covered all of those numbers. And if you look in their other games against bad teams, the Spurs, Trailblazers, Utah Jazz, and Detroit Pistons, they won those games by an average of 26 points. And if you try to look down deeper into some of the causes here, what happens against a lot of bad teams is that the better team relaxes a little bit in the fourth quarter. And even when they're playing hard to start the game, most good teams don't have good bench units. They basically win the minutes with their starters by a lot, lose the minutes with their bench players by a little bit, and win a lot of games that way. That's not the Thunder. The Thunder are 10, 12 guys deep. They have just a ton of young talent, guys that know they have a chance to play for this team in the postseason when that comes. At the same time, know that Oklahoma City is not shy about making trades. In a way, they could be debuting again to play for their team this year or to play for whatever team is going to be their next location. They continue to bring wave after wave of player. And so not only do they win the minutes with their very impressive starting five, and they win those minutes comfortably. When the bench comes in, they continue to stretch out those leads. And late, when a lot of other teams have their second unit in, they slow the game down, they let the other team get in, and you see kind of some backdoor covers. Oklahoma City's guys are out there pushing, increasing the margin, really stretching out leads. So I played 11.5. You guys are probably going to get 10.5 as you're watching this video. It's all good. And if it continues to go down, if it gets to 10, 9.5, I'm going to go back and probably play some more. Again, I'll add that in the FTN Bets Discord, but everything looks like a really nice spot here. And as good as Washington has been, and they have against the spread, I believe they're just 3 games below 500 for the season. Let me check their record at home. I looked at this earlier, but again, I want to make sure that's right. But they're better on the road. They're just 5-10 at home. They're 10-8 on the road. So they have covered some big numbers. I just don't think it's going to be tonight. This is a really rough matchup for them. So I'm going to lay a bunch of points with the Thunder tonight. Again, as someone that does not like betting double-digit favorites, I'm going to lay 11.5 and might go back for some more if this number continues to drop. Again, nothing on the injury report to concern me, so I don't think the Thunder are resting anyone. And even if they do, as I said, it's a deep team. They've got people behind them. Now, for the games tonight, I haven't bet them yet, but just want to give you guys kind of my thoughts here, any kind of angles that I might be building up to. And again, as I've mentioned, we'll continue to. Make sure you get into that FTN Bets Discord. A lot of great information there, and you'll catch any of these plays as I make them. The Boston Celtics, 3-point favorites in Indiana tonight. The total is 244. Have to wait and see what happens with Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis. They're both listed as questionable. Seems like one of these guys are going to be out. If both of them were in, I expected this line to be closer to 6.5, 7. So if you think both are playing, 3 points is a great number. Conversely, if they're both out, I think this number moves even more in Indiana's favor. Still a decent matchup for Boston. They've got good guard defenders. They know how to slow down Halliburton and have in the couple games that they played against him this year. But not really going to trust Boston here if both of their guys are missing. So it's a tough spot where we need some more clarity, but I don't think the line's going to move the way I want it to. Again, if Tatum and Porzingis are in and this line sits at 3, 4, 4.5, somewhere in that range, really anything, 5 less than standard juice or better, I might have a bet on the Celtics, but it seems like they're going to be out. And if they are, I'm going to pass on this game. Houston Rockets go to Miami. The Heat laying 4 points, a total 219.5. Two teams I really struggle with here. You've got a Heat team that's been much better on the road, have gone over their team total 8 of their last 10 home games, but have gone under their team total their last 5 road games. It speaks to kind of the dynamic that they have, and maybe it is just that sweet, warm Miami air that really fills their lungs full of excellent basketball, but I struggle to see what the big difference there is. Also, they've been playing now with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and no Jimmy Butler. That's a very interesting team. I just need some more data there. At the same time, I liked Houston in this spot. I have them a lot closer here than 4-point underdogs, but they've really struggled on the road, and this is their first road game after being home for 2 weeks. They played 7 consecutive games in Houston before tonight's matchup. Tough for me to really feel confident about my handicap for either team, so I'll let that go. The Utah Jazz off a win against my Philadelphia 76ers, although without Joel Embiid, finish a 3-game road trip in Milwaukee. They have to go back home to Utah on Wednesday to play the Denver Nuggets. What a brutal schedule spot. It is really rough for the Jazz tonight. I struggle to see how they're going to keep this game close, but at the same time, this is not the Milwaukee Bucks team we've come to know to really just beat up on these bad teams. They've struggled, almost lost to the San Antonio Spurs the other night, did lose in Houston to a Rockets team. They're just flat out better than. And if this was the Bucks of the last 2 years, I'm jumping all over this -10. I would lay this 10 points, but not this Milwaukee team. They can't seem to defend. They give up a lot of 3-pointers in Utah. As much as this should be a down spot for them, they shoot a lot of threes, and there's always a chance they get a hot behind the arc, and you're stuck holding -10, and they are closing hard at the end of the game. So have to let this one go, even though, again, I kind of lean towards the Bucks here, maybe Bucks -10, Bucks team total, but it's tough for me to justify any of those numbers. And the last game of the night, just a mess of a matchup. The Phoenix Suns lost last night to the Memphis Grizzlies by 6, despite having an 11-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Kevin Durant is questionable. They play again tonight in Los Angeles against a Clippers team that lost to the Lakers. Finally, the Lakers have beaten someone. It was the Clippers. One of the worst games you'll ever see Kawhi Leonard play. They're in LA tonight. I don't know how to make any difference between these teams. And the Clippers are 6.5-point favorites. The total is 230. I do tend to think there's more value in backing Phoenix. If Kevin Durant can play tonight, this probably should be closer to 3.5, 4. But again, no idea if Durant is actually playing, and not really sure what to make. A bad spot for both teams, so I'll have to skip that. But again, the two bets I did make, we're going to take the Charlotte Hornets team total under 104.5. You can find that at -106 at FanDuel. Again, honestly, anything -115 or better for 104.5 looks really nice to me. And secondly, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I have a bad number at 11.5. It's probably 10.5 now. Might even be 10, but I might go back and even add some. Love the Thunder tonight. Really think they can just crush this Wizards team. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, you can find me on Twitter at _Noops. Hoops with Noops in written form Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll be back this Friday with another video edition as well. And as always, take a look at the ticker. Make sure you're signed up for all the great stuff at FTN. Would appreciate a like and a comment down below. Best of luck. Until next time, I'll see you on Friday.